joining us again this morning is the squad from last week. So Ariel, the wellness coach, is in studio with us. And Richard Akita is all the way far away, somewhere very far. But joining us over Zoom. Good morning and welcome once again, Ariel and Richard.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Richard.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing better than good.
Awesome. I like to hear that. Okay, so let's dive straight into the conversation. So last week we identified 8 areas of our lives as a couple, as a married couple or as a committed couple, which we wanted to really dive into. And we started off with the spiritual aspect, and we kind of concluded that the spiritual aspect is the foundation of everything. So we focused on that. And then today we'll be focusing on the other 7 areas. But let me say a big thank you to Amasha Partners Limited and Eye Care, Yamvita, a delicious way to grow, Dano Milk, choose tasty milk, choose nourishment, choose Dano Milk, go for it, Onga, Mama's Helping Hand, and Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix. Wufakakra na ayebebe. Thank you so much for bringing us home affairs. All right. So, Richard, do you just want to go over? I think you had 4 or 5.
Oh, Ariel had more because everything I said, Ariel managed to make it simpler.
Oh, okay.
So literally, we had the areas we're covering was personal development. We're looking at your spiritual growth, money, family and friends, health, fun and recreation, and my best one is love and romance.
Ooh, yeah, I remember the love and romance part. All right, okay. So we had personal development, spiritual growth, money, health, fun and recreation, family and friends, and then love and romance.
That's right.
Ariel, do you want to take us through yours as well so that I can sort of put them together and then...
Okay, so I think last week I mentioned health, finance, career, social life, environmental, and then our spiritual life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So they really do merge the two aspects. So we did the spiritual aspect. So how about we start this morning with love and romance? I mean, why not, right? Are you guys okay with that?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Richard, you said that's your favorite.
Well, after laying the foundation for the spiritual life, I believe that making sure that love is key in the home is great, because when a man loves his wife as Christ loved the church, it is amazing how there's harmony in the home. And when a man loves his wife, it is actually easier for the woman to simply to also submit. So it's going to take one person to start it, and it starts off with this love equation. Love covers a multitude of mistakes. Love empowers. Love encourages. So it's not just saying I love you, but actually putting into action. So I'm challenging couples this year that, hey, January is almost done, but if you can, schedule date nights. Many times before we got married, we were all very excited and we did a lot of things. But as life starts to, we have children, or whether we have children or not, life starts to take a role. It starts to demand certain things from us. And unfortunately, when that happens, we tend to forget and take our love for each other for granted. So we do not invest in our love bank. So as one of the goals, I encourage couples to do things that will spark the passion that they once had.
So, Richard, you brought in the whole love submission. I mean, you know that as for the love submission thing, it's a very, very, broad topic. And it's interesting because you are saying that, if I got you right, that the cycle starts with the love.
Yes, it does. Because, you see, even if we look at, if I go back to scripture, you look at Ephesians 5:21, verse 21 is asking both of both the couple to submit one to the other. It is not an exclusive thing to the woman. And when we say submit here, it means the man, as the head of the home, must submit his service to his wife. And the wife, as the homemaker, must submit her skills to her husband. So God has given both of us great skill sets. And when we come together in this partnership, we must submit those giftings to one another, to serve one another. And in so doing, there's harmony. There's this synergy that we're able to move forward, because what is my weakness 99.9% of the time is my spouse's strength, and vice versa. So if I know that I struggle with, let's say, finances, and my wife's, that's one of my wife's areas, why not submit that to her? It's just having that harmony, and it's a role. You see, if you look at the husband and wife situation, it's a role that has been given. So a wife is, okay, it says submit and respect. It's not, if you really go deep down into it, how can you submit if you haven't got anything? And a woman is a leader. A woman is, the giftings of a woman is an amazing thing. So when husbands learn to tap into that, I normally would say to couples that when you learn to love your wife as she wants to be loved, you will untap the greatest gifts that she has on the inside. Because a woman will give you her all, but the incentive is let her know you love her. And loving is not just by saying, it has to be in action as well. Mm-hmm. So you've got to do the romance. And thank God, I remember a few years ago, I mentioned this, and somebody said, because I'm in the UK, so I would say to husbands to buy flowers for their husband. These days you can buy flowers for your wife. And I encourage husbands, not just flowers, every day do something, every week do something to surprise her. It doesn't have to cost you so much. Even if it's just a bar of chocolate, if it's a drink, it's whatever she likes, her favorite meal, every so often, just surprise her. And every so often, take her out, go for a walk. This love and romance feeds, once you've done the spiritual, love and romance feeds into the rest of the goals. Yeah. Because, going for a walk, as we said last week, if my wife and I, what we do almost every other day is we do a 5K walk. And what do you do when you're walking? You talk. We don't just talk about the problems. We talk about some of the things, our memories. We look at things and we reminisce. And by the time we come back, not only have we exercised, but our brain has also, our mental health level has also gone up. So love and romance is also a good area for couples to focus on.
All right, Ariel, I'm sure you are dying to get into the conversation.
Yeah, that is, everything Richard is saying there is right on point. And to say it is that the word love, we use it to say, I love coffee, I love music, I love that. We take it a lot for granted. I love this music. But when you decide to love someone, it's a commitment. There's a need to be vulnerable, to actually be yourself. And if we don't get to that place, then we are hiding who we are. And to nurture love, it's not the same as doing responsibilities for the home. But when we get married or when we come together as a couple, the relationship, what brought us together, which is the foundation, which is love, get lost. We don't nurture that love again, and then the responsibilities become too much for love to thrive. And just like Richard is saying, if we don't take time to do these things that spark that feeling in both of us, then that feeling is being pushed back. It's like the Holy Spirit. If you don't listen to the Holy Spirit, if you don't give time to the Holy Spirit, it will get to a point you would think the Holy Spirit is not there, but it's there. Love is always in us. The Bible said love is shared abroad in our heart. You can't say, I don't love somebody. It's there. You choose not to. So if we don't nurture love in our relationship, we may see that it's going. And activities, practices, routines are things we can do to nurture love.
Okay, so let's talk practically, because you know how there's this stereotype that African men are not romantic. So let's be practical about this. Richard was talking about buying flowers.
So what can the African man do?
What can the African? Is it going to be a lewa or condensed milk coffee or what? But I mean, how do we? I mean, we're here in Ghana, right? So when you look at the ecosystem and how things work and all of that, how do we? I think it's easier for women to be more romantic
than men. That's
I don't know
true.
if I'm wrong.
That's true.
I mean,
I think
You're
for
wrong.
men, if I
No,
want to
definitely
say
wrong.
for men, I think
Richard says we are wrong. Women are not as romantic
as men,
yes.
we don't make time to date. When we get married, a lot of men don't make time to date. I mean, take your wife out on a date.
Because you've heard that saying, why do you campaign after you've won the election?
You need to still let me know that you are worth the campaign I voted for, you know. That is why you need to make time, create, even if it's once a month, a date time. It could be a date to go and watch a movie, and it's healthy. I mean, choose a movie that is positive, that will inspire both of you to feel good. You can go for a movie. You can go dancing. You can go for, a music program that gets you to dance. Or you can even set time home to dance. You know, but we think these things are trivial. These things are waste of time. But if we don't invest time into the things that we think are small, the big things too don't stand. So make time to go out on a date. Make time to go out and dance. Going on a walk together is very beautiful and it's very therapeutic. But when you are walking together on a leisure walk as like an exercise or just connecting with nature and walking, a lot of things, what's the word I'm looking for? Mindfulness can set in. And when mindfulness sets in, you are able to connect with yourself, to open up to talk at a place that has no fear. The thing about communication is when you are afraid and you're judging the other person, you can't communicate effectively. But when you are mindful, out there without the necessity of being careful, you are able to open up. So going on a walk together is one thing couples have to do. When I'm going on a walk, I see, our brothers, the foreigners, couples walking. You hardly see Ghana couple going on a walk. It's very therapeutic. It doesn't have to be because it's an exercise. It has to be because you choose to walk together Saturday morning for just 30 minutes together, you know. It's very healthy. And then you can declare days that you send the children to grandma and grandpa and give yourself some time. Lastly, go out on weekends away. Get time to go out of the routine, the normal order that you always go through. The morning is hectic, the evening is preparing for tomorrow, the children. Make time to get away on a retreat. And I have a love retreat coming in February. So they better watch out. Wow. It's a love retreat for lovers.
That's in there. I'm in shock. Richard is shaking his head like, what's a wow? Richard, so I mean, all of these things sound really amazing, right? And obviously, I can only speak from the viewpoint of a woman.
Right.
A lot of times, if you're with a man, if your husband is not naturally romantic or doesn't believe in some of these practices because he wasn't raised, seeing his parents going away or, date night and all of those things, it becomes like a push and pull in the house, trying to. It's like you become a professor. You're always giving lectures on why love is important, why romance is important. So this morning, I want you to give us, the wives, the strategy for getting our husbands to realize how much of a favor they're doing themselves by investing in the love and romance aspect of the marriage, and how much more life will be better for them when their wives are satisfied in that way.
Well, for all the men out there, the joy, or should I say the drive to chase the woman of your dreams. We've gone out, we've told her all the wonderful words that we could master, from the Bible to our own poetry. A friend of mine says that when men fall in love, poetry is incited. And we will do all of these things. Now that you have the woman, how are you going to maintain her? Keep it simple. All the things that you used to do that brought you great laughter, don't allow life to suck it out of your relationship. So Aaron has said a few. You do the walks, you do the date nights. But even the date nights, I will encourage. Ladies, it is always good that you take a lead on certain things. But when it comes to this love and romance, I'm going to encourage you this year, let the man lead. Because majority of the time, or should I say some of the times, it is the woman who is pushing for these things, and it becomes like a nag because he's not ready to do it. He feels, well, I've got to make money. He's seen his parents show love by providing, by going out there working and coming back with the money, and then he sits, watches TV, and that's it. But if you are able to keep the excitement, so men, number one, create a time. Just as you would create an appointment with your office, with your businesses, create a time to have fun with your wife. Fun because both of you need to, if it's a walk, do it together. If you both like reading, read together. I mean, you can do like your own book club. Buy books that you can read, watch films. Go back to, if you like, go back to use, let's say, Ghana as your area of exploration. Go to Akosombo, go to Cape Coast, go to Tamale. Take time out and create that moment where you are leading. So it's January. In your goals, actually put down the places you like to visit, the restaurants you like to go to, the food you like to eat. But you know that one of the best things, I enjoy cooking. And what's best than the woman coming home, or the woman is in bed, or the woman is just in the house and the man goes to the kitchen and cooks a meal for his wife. If you do these small things, so you're cooking, you're taking her for a walk, taking her for a drive, in actual fact, some other things you can also do is the dream building. If you live in Teshi, where I live, and you want to move out of that environment, and you want to go somewhere else, and you feel going to East Legon is the dream, get in your car, go to East Legon, park the car, walk in the neighborhood, look at the houses there, let it fill your imagination, let it fill your heart, let it fill both of you, so you can dream together. And it's aligning those dreams that helps us to be in sync with our wife. We are not in competition. If your wife organizes a date night and it's fantastic, the following month, please do same. My challenge to a lot of the couples is this: do a 50 city date, then do a 100 city date. Before you do the going away to the wonderful resorts in Ghana where you can have a full weekend to yourselves. And even when you do the full weekend, please, gentlemen, as we age, if you do not look after yourself and you are taking medication, certain parts of your body does not respond very well. So if you look after yourself in old age, so I've been told by research that even at the age of 70, we can still be active. Don't let things die off because you are stressed out. The life we live is too short. So invest in that marriage, invest in the woman, and I tell you the benefits. When a woman is happy, the home remains happy.
Yeah,
that's true. Did you want to add on to that area before we move to the next?
No, I think Richard has said it all. The only thing I want to add is that in order to also keep the love going, women should learn how to initiate sex.
Oh yeah. I think that's been.
They should show
something
interest
that
in
has
sex.
been-
I love sex. Let your man know I love sex.
You see, but
I
the
want
thing
to
is,
initiate it. I want it. Yes, it shouldn't be only the man.
the thing is, it's a cycle, though, isn't it? Because when we're not feeling loved, then we're not feeling like we want to have sex. Apart from the particular time of the month when
you can
your
also
body
use
is...
it to spark love. Let your man know how you desire him. It could also
Yeah,
help
but in
him.
the moment, I don't desire you because you are not helping in the house.
But
you are
then,
not
then
romantic.
it's not love
you are
anymore.
Not,
You want him to be something before you love him. So,
But he also wants me to be something before he's romantic. So what do we do?
somebody has to give in.
Somebody has to start
But
it.
I mean,
And what I encourage-
initiating sex on the woman's side is a very healthy thing for a relationship. Yes,
And
it
I've
is.
heard a lot of men complain
Yeah.
about the fact that the women don't
They
initiate.
don't show interest. It's like it's always a chore for them. It shouldn't. It's one of the foundations of marriage, and so each of you should have that space of, yes, I want it. It's accepted. I mean, and I think sometimes our culture and our upbringing make women feel, oh, I don't have to be the one who talk about sex. I don't have to be the one who let the man know. People think I'm a bad girl if I do that, but no. I mean, you got pregnant anyway and had a child anyway, so
People know that
people
you're
know
not a
that,
virgin.
yeah. So I think women should relax when it comes to the sex conversation. Sometimes you can start by texting your man, text him and just say something that is interesting to get
Something like
the
what?
romance
Something
up
like
before he
what?
gets home.
Something like
I miss you. I'd love to have sex this evening. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
Sexting
can
by
if you
Ariel.
can say it to his face, text and be romantic during the text and talk about these things. Yeah, it's very healthy. It takes out shyness, fear and all that. It brings you to a place of childhood when you are able to talk to your man about sex. Yeah.
Okay. Richard, what do you think?
Great ideas, and I would say when women understand the benefits of sex, they will be the one who will initiate it all the time. Sex lowers high blood pressure. Sex
Fast.
eases, it takes away, it builds your immune system.
Yeah.
It actually makes you more, it actually boosts your libido. So, there are so many benefits. And what I would say is, if we go back, and Ariel, when we go back, when we started dating, we were like rabbits. We were at it all the time. So what stopped us from doing what we did?
Yeah.
And it is that moment where we should be able to express ourselves. And in this love situation, if I say to my wife, I really want to make love to you, I should be able to say without the fear that I'll be rejected. But also, men needs to understand that there's a cycle system of a woman.
Yeah.
So it's not every time that when you are ready and she's not ready. When she's not ready, then you can massage her. You can do all the things that you can make her calm. Not every touch must lead to sex.
Yeah.
But when you do it, you make sure that it is not the 1 minute. It's not, I mean, some women are put off because it's 1 minute. Listen, initiate foreplay. Let it be an event. Let it be a worship that both of you get entwined into this oneness of passion and orgasm. It is important for both of you, for your health. So ladies, it's good for you. Men, it's good for you. Let's do it as often as we can.
Yeah.
We don't want maintenance sex. We want adventurous sex. We want the sex that sometimes we're going to go, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, really?
Shock
Ooh.
yourselves.
I didn't know there was a difference between maintenance sex and adventure. I'm writing it down. I see. That's very interesting. I think
maintenance sex is he wants it or she wants it. I'll just do it because
get it
they
over
want
with.
So I'm
Yeah.
submitting my body to them. But the adventurous sex is when you decide I'm going to go away to a resort.
No, you wear a different dress. You actually prepare the setting, the
Ariel.
candles. You sprinkle some essential oils in the room. You know, you get it all set. Some
right.
good music in the background.
Yep.
You're done.
You're working it.
You're working. I think that it's also important to acquire skill when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
sex is a skill. I mean, knowing what to touch, how to touch, the number of sets, whether you're doing left, whether you're going right, whether you are, and all of all of those things. You don't want somebody who doesn't know what they are doing, fumbling, around. And we've been together for 5 years, 10 years, and you are still fumbling, and you still don't know.
It happens because we don't open up to tell the man, or the man doesn't open up to tell you,
Or to
ask. How do you want it? How do you want? This is how I want. And it's very important. We need to start talking about these things as couples.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Okay. Are we happy to move on to the next?
Yes, more than happy.
Oh wow. Okay. Where do you want to go, Ariel?
I think I want to jump onto health.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we get the spiritual aspect going, when we get the love and the romance active, then our health is crucial for all these other areas, if you ask me. And every choice you're making now is affecting your health. If you decide to eat, whatever you're eating is going back to affect your health. If you decide to sleep, whatever you are doing, how you are managing your stresses. I mean, the emotional toxins you are keeping in there, the anger, the anxiety, thought patterns, negative thinking, all these things comes back to the body. The body actually takes the score of everything we choose to do. And so if we don't actively engage in choices, that helps us to take care of ourselves, to make sure we are pursuing to be healthy, then we are going to get the love going, we are going to get the romance going, we're going to the spiritual aspect going, but there's always a disease in the family. And disease, it takes a lot of energy when you are unwell and you are sick, So I think making a goal for things you're going to do, habits you're going to instill, routines you're going to do in the morning or after work to make sure you are balancing yourself to keep healthy is an important goal for couples. And as much as we've spoken about walking, intentional exercise is very important. Healthy eating, balanced diet, which should include a lot of fruits and vegetables, is also very crucial. And moderation of, carbohydrates, eating late in the evening is also very important. Sometimes we don't eat the right meal because we don't plan what we are going to eat. We just... I'm hungry, and then whatever is available, I just make time to eat that.
And at whatever time.
And at whatever time. So we need to plan how and when we eat intentionally, because what is going inside you is actually what is coming out of you. So that is very, very important. Making time to eat lots of fruits and vegetables, sometimes on a day-to-day basis, it can be difficult. But you can schedule maybe one weekend in a month, your food becomes all fruits and vegetables intentionally. So if you can't do it every day, schedule a weekend, maybe once in a month, every Monday of the month, that's what you do. And it's an intentional plan. We don't wait to go for an event where there are vegetables and fruits before we eat it. We need to intentionally set the schedule. Now, our stresses, when stress is affecting us, what are the steps we know is good for us to manage our stresses? We are always busy, in a hurry, and it all throws us out of balance. And so we need to cultivate an intention that we are pursuing things that will make us healthy, so that we'll stay healthy and enjoy the relationship we want to build. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Richard, I'm going to come to you so that we talk about health, but I just wanted to take a comment from Reverend Alan in Tema. He takes us back for a second to love and romance and says, Enima, the grandparents also have love and romance. And he's saying, let part of yourself go for your spouse. And it is proven that men who do housework are more romantic to their wives and live longer. I agree. He says, if you continue to court, your marriage will never go to the courts. So, absolutely
Definitely.
love that. Yeah. All right, Richard. And housework is exercise, isn't it? So
It is.
The husbands can kind of get the washing
anything you're
of the
doing
dishes
that keeps you
in.
moving often is counted as something that is healthy for the body. But there is a mind-body connection, which I would like to bring in quickly, because if you're doing it and you're complaining about the chore, and I'm tired doing this, then the mind doesn't recognize it as something that you like, it's beneficial to you. So sometimes you're doing your chores, but let it be in your mind that as I'm doing this, I'm also helping my body. With that connection, there is a benefit. But if you, you are not going to benefit from the activity you are doing. Sometimes I'm tired, I'm cooking, I'm washing tomatoes, and I'm talking to the tomatoes. Oh, thank you for coming all the way from the farm and getting here safely. But I'm tired, But I need to bring myself to a place where what I'm doing gives me something also. And it's very, very important that we learn to appreciate wherever we are. It comes with appreciating where you are. That's where you are. You can't move away from there. So when you come fully to that place, whatever you are doing gives you something back, and it helps your health as well.
I love that, talking to the tomatoes. I do.
You want to know the things I talk to?
I do
it's
know.
crazy.
No, I really don't. I really don't. Richard, I mean, so on health, there over the past few years, and I think more recently, King Charles, I think a few days ago, released the statements about the enlarged prostate, his enlarged prostate issue, and going in for surgery and all of that. And we know how reluctant sometimes our men are to go to the hospital, to have themselves checked and things like that. So maybe if you talk to them, they'll listen, as opposed to us, in their ears about getting their health as a priority.
Well, gentlemen, I would say we would all love to live till we are 90, 100. We all have to do that. But do you want to live till you're 100 in pain?
Yeah.
You want to live to that age where you are constantly in the hospital because you didn't look after yourself now. If you start investing in yourself now, at old age, you still have a healthy body. And you've heard from what Ariel has said. What you put into your body will reflect on the outside. It does reflect on the organs. It does reflect on all the things you're doing. So this year, if you're somebody who partakes in alcohol, this year, have a goal and say to yourself, have a limit that you drink to. If it's having a fruit fast, do that. Yeah. But the key thing is this: after 40, we are advised to do medical checks every year. Because after 40, our body slows down, the metabolism slows down. And that pain, that headache you have, get it checked. Many times we wait until it's a crisis. Yeah. And when it's a crisis, it's too late. And the old adage, had I known, is wasted. So I say to every single man out there, I mean, I'll say from the age of 40, but if not, develop the habit. If it's a headache, check. Stop self-medicating. Go to the hospital. If it's a headache and it's constant and it's been going on for more than 3 days, go to the hospital and find out what is it. It could be your pressure. And if it is, high blood pressure is a silent killer. Yep. It doesn't announce it. It will announce with a headache, but by the time you know it, it's taking you away. And many fathers are going too early, leaving a lot of strain and stress on the family. So I encourage you, get those medical checks. Number 2, these days our phones have the steps that you take. Yeah. Once again, monitor how many steps you're doing. If you notice that from home to the office, all the steps you've done throughout the whole day is 1,000 steps, find a way to increase those steps. Because driving, yes, is convenient, it's quick for us, but create that time where you start investing in yourself. Because when you look after yourself, your family will enjoy you for a lot longer.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so I think we're good with health, right?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So I just want us to take a quick break, get some messages from our friends, and then when we come back, we will go into the other areas. We still have fun and procreation, career, money, and personal development to go through. This is Home Affairs here on your Superstation Joy 99.7 FM. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned in. All right. Okay. So like I said earlier, we are talking about couple goals and we identified a few areas that we wanted to focus on. So we've talked about the spiritual, we've talked about love and romance, and we've talked about health. So we have about 5 more areas to go through. So I hope you have your pen and paper and you're writing down ideas and reasons why you should do the things that we're suggesting. So we have fun and creation, career, money, personal development, and environmental. I think we should talk about money.
Yep.
Because money is a big one. So Richard, let's come to you first on your thoughts about money in terms of couple goals for this year.
I encourage the couples to set a figure that they would like to have by the end of the year. So, we've got our living expenses, but how much are we saving? How much are we investing? And also consider insurance, life insurance or life assurance, as they say, because all these things brings a stability to the home. And when we don't set our money goals, it's amazing. Money has wings and it will fly away. So set money goals, set financial goals that helps. So in the financial goals, set what you would, if you're a Christian, set what you would give for your offering, your tithe. You already deal with that. Set what you're going to give to charity. So let me break it down into percentages. Once you've done your 10% to God, 10% should be save another 10% for yourself. Invest 10%. Then I ask you to take at least another 10% to invest in your community. And this is giving to charity, giving to support groups. Then your 70% is what we live on in the home. But in doing all of this, I encourage couples to have a joint account where all the monies that pays the bills comes into one account and it takes care of everything. But out of that, you should have your own money. So please, men have your own money, women have your own money. So you can also set, apart from the couple's goals, set your own individual goals for finances so that it brings that harmony in the home. And have emergency things for emergencies. Your car you're driving, something might go wrong with it. Don't let it catch you by surprise. If you plan ahead, there's a strong likelihood that when something goes wrong, you will have the funds to meet up with it. So you're not chasing your tail all the time when it comes to finances.
Okay, so let's break it down a little bit more. Let's talk about this joint account. So we're doing, let's say, 10% tithe, 10% investment, 10% giving, and then we have 70%.
Yeah.
Now, out of this 70%, you said that we should have an account, or you're suggesting to have a joint account for
That's
bills
right.
and expenses.
That's
What
right.
kind of bills and expenses? Because I have my bills, I have my expenses. Maybe I want to change clothes or buy shoes, my personal stuff. You also have your. So are we talking about shared expenses in terms of electricity bill, water bill, those kinds of things, or all of our expenses with the understanding that I'm buying 4 dresses this month and you're buying 1 shirt?
Thank you. You've laid out the foundation for me. This 70% I'm talking about, you will have your own personal money. So out of that 70%, the husband takes an allocation, the wife takes an allocation. Now, whatever the woman or man decides to do with the allocation, whether it's buying 1 shirt or 5 dresses, that is for them to decide.
Okay.
But out of that 70%, all I'm saying is your utility bills needs to be taken care of. The school fees needs to be sorted out. Your insurances, life insurance, car insurance, all the things, all the money that's leaving the family. It shouldn't be because the money. I've heard this thing: the money for the man is for the wife, and the money for the wife remains the wife's. No, the joint income you bring in should be what you both use to plan how you live. So out of that 70%, you decide to allocate a certain amount of money to each other, because some of the things a woman needs on a regular basis. For us men, once I've got my aftershave or my aftershave, and I've got my suit and my shirt, there's a likelihood that I will not buy something new. So we make it proportional. It doesn't necessarily always have to be equal. If you both decide, look, we'll give ourselves 100 cedis each every month, but you know that the woman's needs, she's got more things to look after for herself, and you want her to look good. So gentlemen, sacrifice a little bit. Remember the romance bit. So even when you get your 100, you can always take 20 and say, hey, sweetheart, I'm adding to this. Use this to buy a dress for yourself. That, it makes it much simpler, because then when it comes to school fees, you're both not struggling because you've already made provision for it. When it comes to buying a new car, you made provision for it. If you're building a house, you made provision for it. And it is this idea of this unity when it comes to money that drives the couple in the right direction. If not, if it's one person who's carrying all the load, sadly, that one person will burn out. And when they do, what do we say to them? Oh, I could have helped. No. Come together, because marriage is a partnership. Come together and plan together, especially when it comes to finance.
Okay, I have questions because it's the way that you've put it, it really speaks of a lot of there's almost no independence. So in the first place, we're talking about financial transparency. So you know how much I earn, I know how much you earn.
Yeah.
So that's probably the first hurdle, because peeps are always trying to hide how much they're earning. Maybe women more than men. And then also then there's the proportion of how much I'm putting in, how much you're putting in, and then who is deciding what we're using the money for, especially if it's the other person who's bringing majority of the money. And then there's maybe things that one person wants to do that the other person doesn't want to do. And so maybe the person who's earning more wants to do certain things. The person who's earning less is dictating how things should be done. I mean, there's a lot of avenues for a lot of arguments. And if you're looking at it outside of the Christian, perspective of marriage, then maybe you could almost say a lot of unfairness, because let's say I'm bringing in 15,000, you're bringing in 5,000, but you're trying to determine what we're doing with all of the 15,000. Is there a point where we say, okay, since you are bringing in 5,000, I'll bring in 5,000 as well, keep my 10,000, and then we can do whatever we want to do with the 10,000, but I'm still going to keep my 10,000. And also because, I'm trying to be as real as possible. Also because, over the years, women have almost always been told that you should have money or something that is yours and that is somewhere, because when things go wrong or when things fail, you don't want to be caught off guard. We're having a real conversation, so I'm not going to run away from these things. So how do you handle that? Because it's a lot of trust and a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
And if you remember from the submission I made when I said the 70%, all I was talking about is you have to agree. That's why we're having this conversation this morning. So both of you have to agree the things you want to spend the money on. And so once you set this joint account, in that joint account are the things that you have both agreed. And out of that 70%, if you then decide, look, I have a couple who contributes, the man contributes 80%, the woman contributes 20% into this joint account, then the rest of the money they don't account, and they live by that. If that works for you, fine. But the point I'm making is have a system that takes care of those bills that brings that pressure and ease the pressure on each other. So if you decide that you've got 15,000 and I have 5,000, but our bills for the home is, let's say, including food and everything else, let's say it's 6,000, and you both decide, okay, 6,000, I'll bring my 3,000, you bring your 3,000, done. That means that the home is being run without either partner stressing. I hope you get my point.
I get it, but the person who's left with 2,000 is definitely going to stress.
No, because
at some point
the bills are paid. How they spend that 2,000, that's entirely up to them.
Okay.
And how you spend your 12,000 is entirely up to you. Literally, it's just saying, look, we have a roof over our head. We want to build a house. How much will the house cost? This year, we intend to invest 100,000 in building the house. Okay, how much can we contribute towards that? So the one who has the 12,000 can say, look, for the building, I can add 2,000. Then the one who has 2,000, I can add 1,000. It is agreed. Remember, everything you're doing here is that you agree on how to meet the financial commitments. And once you agree to do that, it brings transparency, it brings harmony, and nobody else worries about, okay, after we've done all of this, you have X amount. No. We decide to do it this way. Even how much money you give to your parents, if you're supporting your parents. Again, all of this is an agreement that you should both make in terms of the finances. And it's a good place to start this conversation. So know how much is going out, so you're not surprised by anything. And then the money that is left, I encourage, whether it's 1,000, whether it's 11,000 that's left, I encourage either couple to then have their own financial goals. So you have one for the couples, you have your own financial goals, so that if it's 1,000, if you're saving 100 out of it, do it consistently. If you have 11,000 and you decide to save 6,000 out of that, do it consistently. So you can see you have the couple's goals, yet you have your independent goals as well.
Right. Okay. Ariel.
Yes. So for me, when it comes to finances, I think we've said major of the things, but I want to speak on a few things here. And I think we should budget our expenses. We need to budget our expenses. We may want everything, but our monies may not be enough for everything. So budgeting our expenses is a healthy way to start the year and planning. This month, this is how much we can spend on in whatever. There are wants and there are needs. We need to know financially what are the needs and what are the wants. If we are saving, there should be a purpose for the saving. Are we saving for education? Are we saving for a building? The purpose directs the vision. So if you don't align the reason why bring 50% or bring 20% to a project or a vision, then it's like, why am I putting my money into that? So let's have a purpose for the saving. Now, the other thing I want to say is sometimes when we are spending and we don't take account, it's a very bad. I want to talk more about money mindset to say how our mindset runs when it comes to money is why transparency is even not good in our relationship when it comes to money. And sometimes I find I have taken a lot of years to build my financial side, how to change some of the things I learned from my mother who was an illiterate. I mean, I see her having lots of money to go and she comes back and then so I used to have all my money in my bag, and I just spend. So one of the things I've started for a couple of years now is writing my expenses during the day. What did I use 50 cedis for? It changes how I relate to money. What did I spend doing this? It lets you know the loopholes, the things sometimes you are buying not necessarily needed. So at the end of the day, you can have a book to just write your expenses so that you know how you are spending your money. The other thing for finance for me in the family is setting clear boundaries on responsibilities. Clear boundaries, so that you are not doing what the man is supposed to do and then you set a resentment set in. Know what you have to do. It should be a communication. You do these things, I do these things. And so if somebody...
So you don't necessarily agree with the joint account?
No, this has nothing to do with the joint account. The joint account is a different conversation and it's, a decision for both couples to decide on having. But responsibility as in food, daily, clothing for children, school fees, who does what? We need to have that clear conversation and boundaries. Sometimes as a woman, you may think, okay, he's not doing it and I'm in a hurry to sort it out and then you're doing it. I think it goes a long way to start becoming a problem if we don't have clear boundaries on who does what and giving each other the space to do it when they can do it. It can be difficult, but that trust that you know your responsibility, you will do it, is healthy for the home. So the woman shouldn't do what the man has to do. If what the man says, I will do it, find a way to reach out to him to know when he's ready to do it, instead of quickly solving the problem out of his hands financially. We should let the man know we trust that he's capable. It helps them psychologically and emotionally to trust that what they said they will do it. And the man too needs to own up to what he said he's going to do. So for me, I want to find this emotional state for our financial goals for the home. So clear boundaries on who does what.
I have a question. The clear boundaries on who does what.
Yeah.
I feel like it comes to a value system. So are we running our family based on the old traditional roles of men do this and women do this? Or are we running the family based on this is how much we have as joint income, or maybe this person earns more, so you do this or you do this? Because if we're using, my fear is that if we're using, let's say, traditional roles, for example, in this climate where women are also very big earners, and we say, okay, the husband should pay the school fees, do this, do that, because that's what traditionally they're known to do, then it brings a certain imbalance, because then there's a lot more of a burden on him.
So what I'm saying, I'm not choosing which areas you have to do.
Okay.
But you need to know what you can do for the home as a woman and what the man is doing. Instead of not having clear setup. You know, when there are no clear setup, everything is haphazard. It's not clear for people to know where they stand. Oh, I thought you would buy it. I thought you would do it. But when there are clear plan and setup, responsibility, some men know that when they are going home every day, they have to stop by and buy bread, you know. It's as simple as that. You know, so
the designated bread buyer.
You know, just as like who takes the trash this week?
Yeah.
These are some of. So let's say these are some of the things we need to have clear boundaries on, so that I don't feel like I'm the only one who is always doing this. I'm the only one who is always doing this. So it's not about the old tradition necessarily, but knowing who does what, so that we can all clearly respect each other's duties and responsibilities. Instead of, okay, I did it yesterday, tomorrow you two do it. It brings a lot of confusion, a lot of misunderstanding. So I'm not really about the old tradition, you pay school fees, pay that, not necessarily that. But there is a lot of spending when two people are together. There's fridge breaking down, there's car, there's fuel, there's children pick up. There are a lot of things. So if we don't share certain things, it's going to be a lot of confusion. Okay. So for me, just those few things. And then the other thing I want to talk about is we need to create a healthy environment for each other to grow financially. A healthy environment. And Richard has mentioned some of the things that both of them need to have their financial goals, and both of them need to have a way of saving something. Some years ago, a lady I had lost her husband, and the husband used to handle everything. She didn't know where to start to run even the home. We need to also learn some of these things on our own individually. How do you do this? Even generator, you need to learn how to put on the generator, how to fill the generator, how to change your car tie. Yeah, sometimes your husband may travel and maybe was returning and couldn't come back, and the light is off. You can't know how to do this. You don't know. So we should have a space of, everybody knowing how to be independent, sort of, balancing themselves with or without the other person when it comes to their finances. Yeah.
Okay.
And then lastly, yes, I think I've said it.
Okay.
Yes.
Because we have 10 minutes to do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So we're going to try and do it really quickly.
Okay.
Let's talk about career.
Yeah.
And the importance of setting goals as a couple, even though careers are kind of individual things. But so how do you bring that together and kind of decide in terms of support and help the career goals for? Let me start with you, Ariel, and then I'll come to you.
Yeah, career goals bears a lot on personal development. So where do you want to advance towards in your career ladder? And your partner should know, maybe I want to do some courses in the year, and this is how much these courses are going to cost us. And I want to develop to become, I'm aiming next year, there's going to be some promotions. Every quarterly there are promotions. So I want to aim. So I need to do some courses so that I can be on the list of promotions. That is something you can discuss with your partner. Or the man thinks, I want to have a transfer because, being transferred gives me growth to grow in my company if I go to work at other regions. These are some of the career goals you need to know you want and share with your partner, that you are going to go in that direction to grow yourself career-wise. And the two of you need to understand how it comes back to the family and how it supports the family, because all these career goals goes back to your financial goals as well. Because if you're growing career-wise, you're developing career-wise, then your financial goals too are going to be met. Career-wise too, we need to also aim on ourselves as individuals that we want to move ahead. We don't want to stay at the same place all the time. And if both are growing career-wise, it takes out a lot of the money issues that you are earning more. And so if you are here, are you aiming on growing in your career to move forward? It's a goal that you need to set for yourself as an individual to grow in your career, not just stay where you are and your wife is maybe always growing and going forward, and then you're like, or your man is always growing and going forward and you are just staying where you are. We should aim at achieving our maximum potential, which we all have more potential to achieve. So career-wise, set a goal for yourself. What are the new areas in my career I want to advance in? You know, do I need to do a course? Do I need to learn on my own? Now you can advance yourself online in so many ways without leaving home or living where you are. So I think these are some of the areas in the goal setting for careers I think they should look at.
Yeah. Okay, Richard.
We should become each other's champion, each other's cheerleader. And in the year, what I encourage couples to do is, once you agree and you share your vision with each other, and this is a conversation you're having, it's okay, fine. This year, Ariel has mentioned a lot of things, so I'll try and make mine a bit brief. What is it going to cost us as a family? What time do you need? So if both of you can plan it, I know there are times where couples are both going for their careers, and so both of them are pushing themselves forward. Is there a way that they can phase it so that the pressure on the family is also considered? So set the goals and support each other by finding out the help that they need to be able to achieve that goal. And be the one who is the accountability partner, be the one who's motivating them, be the one who's there to listen to them when they're struggling, so that you can bring words of wisdom, or you can bring some supportive words to them, so that at the end of the year, you can both look back and see what you've achieved, and you'll be the better for it.
I love the be each other's champions.
Cheerleader,
the role of support is it's not a competition.
No,
you know,
it's not.
It's so easily becomes that. Okay, we have 6 minutes. Last thing I really want us to focus on is fun
and recreation.
Yes, fun. Richard, do you want to go first, and then Ariel can finish off?
Okay, fun. If you don't have any of the board games, I will encourage you to get board games. You know, these days our children are playing video games. Video games are very individual, very independent. They don't have to communicate with you. They're online and do everything else. As a family, fun, eat on the dining table. Create the atmosphere where mom and dad, if you tease each other, if it's part of your love language, let the children see you do it. Let the children see mommy tickling daddy, daddy tickling. Create those moments. I say board games or worry, Ludo, all those things. Create that moment with the children, because that is what we remember. I mean, I know I say I had a good childhood, and when I look back, I remember playing Owari with my mom, with my grandma, my dad, football, and sometimes we play cards. And we do all of these things. My goal as a child was to win. And every time I beat my mom in Owari, my gosh, you should see how much I'll be dancing. These are great moments. So create those moments. And it doesn't have to be, yes, it's good to do the holidays. It's good to go to the seaside, go to Beauty Falls, go to the tourist areas. Create those moments that allows your dopamine to spike. Let your family have that fun, because we remember those things. And the more fun you have, I know it will ease and bring that harmony in the home.
That sounds amazing, right, Ariel?
Yes, it does. It does. It does. So some of the fun and recreational things is very important. I mean, creating those memories is what actually builds the family. And making time to spend with the children while you do this is also very crucial. It helps with bonding and healthy psychological growth as a family for the children. One thing you can always talk about are the fun and recreational things you do. I mean, the other things will not be memories you can share. And science shows that experience stays longer with us than even the material things we buy. So creating time to tour the country is healthy. Like, Richard mentioned visiting the falls. And last year I did a lot of, these trips. And so they should look out for some of these things and join with the family. Going out of the city. Sometimes you can do biking, together as a family for fun. You can go window shopping for fun. You don't necessarily have to buy. In any area of choice, maybe interior decor is something you guys enjoy. You can go window shopping, and you can also try going to the museum We have museums in Accra, and Ghanaians don't go there. You can visit them.
Yeah.
Go to the museum, do things, go to the beach.
The beach, I was just
go
gonna
to the
say that.
beach, my favorite sport. Go to the beach and walk barefooted in the sun. Now, the thing about fun and recreation is it feeds our soul. Your soul loves that you appreciate all that you do, and you are creating time to love that life that you are living. So what is the hobby you have? What are the passion? We need to make time. Do you want to go and play tennis? Do you want to go swimming together? Create time as a family to do these things. They are very, very important part of relationship that sometimes we think we are too busy to make time for, and before we realize, we are growing apart and we don't know what is happening. So fun and recreation is crucial to relationship.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much, Ariel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard, for joining us on our couples goal conversation. And a very big thank you to Yamvita. Remember to grab the pack size that best suits your family needs. There's 40 gram, 400 gram, and 350 gram maize and wheat, rice and wheat. So much excitement with Yamvita, so be sure to grab that. And also Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix. It's the tomato mix that doesn't turn your meat or fish red, and it gives you a lot for value. So definitely try that out. And remember that you stand a chance of winning amazing prizes from Tasty Tom during the phone-in sessions on the drive time. All you need to do is to tell us how you prepare your favorite meal using Tasty Tom, and definitely promises to be fun and interesting. So thank you to Yamvita, to Tasty Tom, to Dano Milk, Onga, and Amasha Partners Limited and iCare. Well, that's it from us here at Home Affairs. We hope that we've given you enough tools to be able to write out and set out your couple goals for 2024. And we wish you all the best. We pray that you will make it happen.
Yeah.
A very big thank you to you, Richard. Hope